Update. My mom stole 8K from me and opened credit cards in my name. Original post. I haven't talked to my mom for a little over 1 year now, but this is the story of my mom's lies. Growing up, my mom was always in and out of jail for stealing. Last time she was arrested was in 2015. I was 19 at that time. She always said she stole to provide for our family, but we never lived in a stable home. She would just blow money on expensive gifts and tell us, "We aren't poor, we have this. How many poor kids have this?" As we lived from hotel to hotel. Growing up, I became the financially responsible child. I worked multiple jobs, got good grades and community service. I was able to save up $8,500 for college with multiple scholarships. During my hard work in high school, I also helped my mom with bills and paying for whatever she needed help with. When I left for college, she was arrested again, and I had to be dropped off states away by my aunt for my first day of college. I asked my mom for my college money, and she said she would transfer the money when she got out. But when she got out, it all magically disappeared, and blamed my dead grandmother for stealing my money. In 2019, I discovered multiple credit cards and an apartment late on bills were opened in my name. I cried to my mom about all these issues, and she comforted me and asked for more money, which I gave. I graduated with my BA and went to grad school. I was able to be in grad school for 1 year with my saving before I needed to take Grad Plus loans out. I applied, but was denied due to all the negative items on my credit score. My mom told me to just pay it off. I didn't, and just dropped out instead. I was devastated, but I wasn't going to pay for other people's fun ride. I called all the credit companies and got the address for all the credit cards. It was my mom's address. When confronted, she broke down saying it was my grandmother, and how dare I blame her for this. She demanded an apology and didn't speak to me for a week. My grandmother died before all the credit cards were open. I've now filed a police report against my mother. She doesn't know yet, but when she finds out, I am sure I will receive the best kind of text message. We stopped talking for another reason. Edit for all the comments. I have not spoken to my mother for over a year now, and she has been blocked and everything. The reason we do not talk is on a previous post I made about how happy I am my boyfriend ruined my relationship with her. To the comments asking about why I kept giving her money, it was hard. It was either help with the bills or have no electricity, water, gas, a roof over mine and my brother's head. I didn't want to be homeless again, and I didn't want my brother to suffer either. I felt like I needed to help my family because for so long, I had a mentality that blood was thicker than water. I know now it isn't my responsibility. I was just young and thought I was doing the best I could to provide for my family from the ages of 16 to 23. I'm 26 now. As for the credit stuff, I have gotten a good amount taken off. Only 2 cards and 1 bill are on my credit score. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Put a fraud report on all 3 credit companies. Go to annualcreditreport.com and pull your history. Challenge all fraudulent accounts. Then, open a savings account that she doesn't know about and a bank she doesn't use. Actually, try credit union for lower fees. Good luck, OP. It'll be hard, but you will persevere. Oh, thank God. As a banker, I'm so relieved to hear that you filed a police report against your mother. This way, once she's charged and or convicted, you won't be liable for the fraudulent charges and can get your credit rectified as well. As I'm sure you already know, this behavior just isn't entitled, but it's also criminal. It's rough being the irresponsible one when our parents aren't. You may find that you have several things in common with a sub r/raised by narcissists. Freeze your credit now. Please, please, please prevent her from doing anything more. If you need to apply for something, then you can unfreeze it, and then freeze it again once the loan process is done. Freeze it, please, to prevent her from doing more damage. Do you have siblings? Check their credit as well. Then freeze theirs as well. I wish I could upvote this more than once. My mother did something similar to me, OP. Once that trust is broken, you just have to protect yourself going forward. Freeze down your credit and regularly pull your reports. You get 1 free report per year from each of the 3 major bureaus. So what you do is you pull one in January, pull the next one 4 months later, and then pull the 3rd report 4 months after that. And you're basically continuously monitoring your credit. It's easy to do a temporary freeze lift. I recently bought a house, and I told the lender that my credit was frozen. And they didn't even skip a beat. They just told me to let them know when it was lifted and they would do their thing. I just set it up for like a 2-day period, and then it automatically reinstated. It was so easy. Now for the first update. So this may not be the updates everyone wanted to hear. I didn't get justice. She hasn't been arrested, and no charges at this time. I still do have a police report, but I'm not gonna push the police to go make an arrest. So this update is just more information I have recently discovered. More context. It wasn't just always my mom, my brother, and I. When I was born, I shared a small 3-bedroom apartment with my grandmother, her husband, my aunt still in high school, my mom, me, and then my little brother followed. My aunt went no contact with the family in her later 20s, and I never knew why. It hurt to lose someone I was close with. But I heard horrible rumors of things my aunt was doing for my mom, and my mom would also let me know awful things my aunt was saying about me. My aunt was on and off in my life after this no contact. Well, fast forward to present, I reached out to my aunt to meet her. We talked and got everything cleared. My mom stole my aunt and her father's identity. My aunt had a lot of debt she didn't know about, and when she found out it was my mom, she pressed charges. This was the second time she was arrested. My aunt's husband, who was a cop, arrested her. I knew he hated my mom but never knew why. My aunt then gave me a list of family members whose identities she also stole, and everyone in the family knew it would happen to me and my little brother. The issue was, how were they going to stop her? She was our mom. My aunt told me she wished my mom would have given us up, so my brother and I could have lived with her and had a normal life. I don't know why, but those words broke me so much. To know I had family that knew we were being hurt, but couldn't do much to help us. To know they wanted to save me and my brother. My aunt then proceeded to tell me my father tried to go to court to have my social security number changed and locked till I was 18. This way, my mom couldn't steal my identity. It obviously didn't work, and here I am. She told me how happy and proud she was of me. She told me she struggled when she went no contact because she felt like she left her babies behind, and she was afraid of how we would turn out. I love my aunt, and I'm so happy I reached out. And I'm even more angry with my mom now. How badly she isolated us into her own delusional world and in the end destroyed our relationship. I told my aunt I didn't care that we struggled in poverty. I don't blame mom for that, but I blame her for how she handled it and put so much pressure on 2 children to become billionaires for her to continue her reckless spending. Get a lawyer. Let them help you sort out your identity fraud issues. Maybe they can get the police to do something since your mom is a repeat offender. I'm assuming you've put a fraud alert on your credit already. They might not be able to. So when you call the credit bureau, they ask a bunch of questions to verify your identity, including questions about previous addresses, loans, accounts, and such. If egg donor was doing for a while, then they might not know what all information they've used. They need to start with the SSA first and get a new one. They'll issue a letter stating that OP was a victim of identity theft, and that along with a police report will help. It happened to my brother. It wasn't our parents, but someone stole his identity. And he found out when he went to open an account at a bank and was declined because the bank said he had several accounts that were overdrafted, loans that were unpaid, and cars and houses that were repoed. That's so awesome that you were able to reconnect with your aunt. Also, screw your mother. It is absolutely awful what she has done to you and your family. She could have ruined your future and others. She almost did ruin your future. I would suggest to go no contact with her. The fact that she first did this to her family and has done it to you as well means she does not care how this will affect others. So try to do what your aunt did and find a way to protect your brother from this, or at least warn him about this. I have a feeling you won't be the last person she does this to. I have told my brother about it, and he doesn't seem to really care. Maybe doesn't understand would also be a better phrase. He lives with my mom rent-free, but all the bills are under his name. So she pays for the apartment they live in together, but it's under his name. My mom didn't have my brother paying for any bills growing up, and he had way more freedom than I did. I love my brother and I hope he gets out, but my hopes are low. If you ever hope to buy a home, you need to file charges against your mother. I had a friend whose mother did this to her, a single parent with a child, and because she didn't want to be responsible for sending her mother to prison, she decided to close the card and pay it. She never saw a financial advisor. She only spoke to the credit card company, who of course encouraged her to pay it. We live in New York City and none of us ever have any hope of buying a home. But it was difficult for her son to pay for college because she couldn't co-sign on his loans. It's been years of paying off her mother's debt and outlandish interest. Please don't do this. Update 2. I am a ball of rage. I had recently unfreezed my credit account to apply for Care Credit to get an emergency surgery done. In not even 2 months of unfreezing my credit, my mom applied for a new credit card in my name. I'm done. I always had a piece in me that didn't want to press charges or push for it because it was rough times in our lives and I knew she was struggling to raise us. But now I see no excuse other than she just doesn't want the responsibility of living within her means. It has been 2 to 3 years of no contact. 1, I would like to say F you, Chase Bank. The card was being opened with them, and when I called to let them know it wasn't me, they told me they will see if they can close the account, but need a police report first. I asked for the address to confirm it was my mom, and they kept denying my request for the address. I only got it confirmed after I told the operator if I guessed the damn address, would you just give me a yes or no? He agreed, and it was my mom's address. I am away for surgery for a while, but when I get back home, I'm going to the police and request to speak with the prosecutor. I'm done. I'm hurt and done. I did my best to raise my credit score to where it is now. I did my best to work multiple jobs to help with bills. I did my best to be her emotional support, no matter how bad she treated me. I feel like this next step will be cutting this one string I left connected to her out of sympathy. And of course, it led me to being taken advantage again. I hope to give an update on if the courts will be on my side. Good. To be honest, you should have filed a police report the minute you found out they were doing these things in your name. It is fraud to the max, and you've got a hot case. To be fair, OP did file a police report the first time, and it didn't go anywhere. They should have had their social security number changed after the first time, along with going to the police. And they should have put more pressure on the police to follow through with the charges. It seems like they didn't want to do their job. Just think of it this way. With every day you wait on filing criminal charges, things get worse for everyone including you and your mom. First off, it is going to get harder and harder to recover every time she makes a successful incursion. Look at it from the bank's point of view. They know you know about your mom's propensities. At some point, they are going to stop working with you. Chase is already at that point. They have lost a ton of money due to your failure to prosecute, and from their point of view, you have taken advantage of that. They may even allege that you are in on it. Second, your mom is delusional and will not stop. The fact that she swooped in so fast and got more credit suggests that she is persistently trying to access your credit even though she has failed on multiple attempts. The thing is this, the longer this goes on, the harsher the penalty will be in the long run. Prosecuting her now might get her to stop, which would mean that she doesn't end up spending the rest of her life in prison. At this point, with a decent public defender, she might end up on probation, which would likely include a very close eye on any further attempts to gain access to credit. She will not stop on her own. Sooner or later, you must pull the trigger, or you risk further financial devastation and possibly criminal charges yourself. Sooner is better, for everyone including your mom. Edit. I'm sadly states away from this surgery, which is why I'm waiting till the surgery is over and I'm back home recovering. I don't know if I can file this report in the state I am in, and it still be effective in the state I live in. I know jurisdiction can be a problem. Thank you for the advice, everyone. I will be pressing charges right away. My boyfriend is an attorney, but doesn't work in a public area. I do have friends from my law school days that actually work in our county prosecutor office, so I may reach out to them for some advice. They just passed the bar, but are slowly getting into the routine. I also don't like to bring this up much to passive friends, because it's just embarrassing. My mom and I haven't spoken in almost 2 years. It feels so long ago I really don't know the timeline. Questions why haven't I pushed for charges before, and why do I keep letting this happen? I don't really know if many will understand, but I have been conditioned to fear my mom. From a young age, she would punish me for not acting, speaking, or thinking a certain way. If she thought I had a negative thought about her, I was hit and yelled at. I had to beg and cry and comfort her that it wasn't true. After it was over, I would have told my mom and comfort her through the tears. The fear has been also real even after cutting contact. It has stopped, thankfully, but I have been afraid that if I make this move, it will start again. What do I mean? She threatened to get my boyfriend and friends expelled from law school if they kept associating with me. We had to call the school and have a talk about my mom. She then threatens to report me to the IRS for tax fraud, but I always paid my taxes. She even sent messages to my workplace. When I was a kid, I would be in the backseat as she drove past houses of people she hated over and over to see what they were doing. That fear that she could find where I live and do this makes my stomach turn. I was afraid to push for these charges in the past because I wanted to leave it behind and continue the peace I was having. She stopped. I removed all those nasty things on my credit, and I was happy. Until now. Now I know it will never stop. After 4 years of not opening anything in my name, she went back to it. So I'm putting my foot down and taking the step. I understand I should have pushed more earlier than I do. I was scared and naive, but I'm gonna stop it today. Last update until I get back home. I called my local police department back home, saying I have an update for the identity theft report I reported in 2021. They transferred me over to the detective office and said I would need to come in to make another report. I told them I am currently waiting to finish a surgical procedure and will not be back home for a few days. They said it was fine, so at this time I will not be able to make the report until I get back home. But I'm also happy because they said I can talk to the detective when I came in to file the other report. So I hope to be making a part 4 by the end of next month with some good news. Update 3. Well, it's just been a mix of emotions these past few days. 1. My surgery went well and my recovery should be complete by next week. I feel super good. 2. I got cancer. Didn't expect this one. Skin cancer, which is super easy to treat and to prevent if I keep up with doctor appointments. I got this weird wart removed, then got a call right before I go into surgery saying it was cancer and I would need to come in for some more testing and body check. I would like to thank my mom for having me in a tanning beds at 13. She said I was super ugly pale, and I believed her. She also didn't want people to think we didn't travel for spring break. So while spring break, I would be in a tanning bed to look like we traveled and wear sunscreen as kids. 3. I got a puppy. 4. I went to the police today and filed a report. Spoke to the detective too. I gave them all of mine and my mother's information. They asked if I would like to press criminal charges, and I said yes. They are going to call the credit card company to pull the report. And if Chase Bank gives them the report without a subpoena, then we will have an easy charge and closing of the case. If Chase Bank wants a subpoena, then it will take longer to close this. I'm super happy I finally did this, and to hear that they may actually have charges to press against her. So once I have more of an update, I will post again. But it looks like it may be a couple of months before we get somewhere. Thank you everyone for the comments, messages of support and kindness. I'm super happy where I am in life. Also, I did talk with my brother. He knows and is aware of the situation. He doesn't seem to care about his credit, but he is also still young. I'm sure he will understand soon and hopefully get us taken care of. Jesus, this has been an ordeal for you. I'm glad there's some good news in there, and I hope you get some resolution soon. I also wish you luck with your cancer treatments. This part made me angry for you all over again. I knew I would get skin cancer. My mom had me in tanning beds from 13 to 17. It was just a waiting game. But skin cancer isn't deadly if I keep up the visits, and I'll still be able to have a healthy life, so I'm not too worried. I'll know more about my cancer and treatment in 15 days. Just keep on top of your health. Your mom sounds like someone you'll never want in your life, even as a friend. Please go to all credit bureaus and lock down your social security number, and encourage your brother to also. It will prevent people from opening credit cards in your name. I am sorry your mom violated your trust. Edit. I kinda chuckle when I read your comments commenting on my mom as an egg donor, because the surgery I just came back from was egg donation. I was donating my eggs to a gay couple I was close with at my job. They are a very sweet couple and know my family history. I've donated my eggs many times to other couples, but it makes me chuckle a little to see you call her an egg donor after coming from an egg donation cycle. Anyway, police called to let me know they will be going to see her today or Tuesday to talk about the theft. If she admits to it, then we will have an easy case. I told them on the phone she won't admit to stealing. She would just blame someone else. The detective wanted to know if she had a drug problem. I told him no, that she just can't live within her means. If I get a call back that she has been arrested, I will let you know. Now for the 4th update. I got a call this morning from the detective who wanted to hear my side of the story again. I told him my mom's history with theft. I told him I filed once in 2021 and nothing happened. How I found this inquiry and how she did it the moment I unfreeze my credit. He asked what did I want him to do. I told him I would like charges made. He asked if he goes to her place will she admit to this crime. And I told him no, because when I confronted her about this, she had blamed my grandmother. Apparently, the woman had powers beyond the grave to open these cards in my name. He asked if she was a substance user. I told him no. She just doesn't know how to live within her means. He said I will be going down today to interrogate her. If she admits to it, she will be booked right there. If she doesn't, then they will just need a Chase credit report. I'm planning to go to Chase to grab the report and hand it to them myself tomorrow. I asked if she would know our address. He said if we go to court, my address would be submitted as evidence against the identity theft, so she would know where we lived. Thank God we are renting right now. So we agreed if we go to court, we will see how long her sentence is and plan to move out before she is released. We know she will serve time because this is her 4th time, and the judge will have no sympathy on a mom doing this to her daughter. Maximum punishment in the US is 15 years, but she always takes the plea deal, so I can see her serving either a couple of months or a year. It has been a couple of hours, and my stomach feels like it is doing flips. My head is so dizzy, the air feels so much heavier. I feel sick. I've been waiting by my phone for a call, an update, something. Did she admit it? Is she booked? What is happening next? The detective then gave me the report number and I called Chase Bank. Chase apparently hadn't processed the application, but after my call, it was out on hold until further investigation. With my report, I was able to have it denied and removed from my credit score. So I have confidence I can go into the bank tomorrow and snag that report. I apologize for any grammar mistakes here. I feel so lightheaded. I'm on edge right now. I'll update again once I've heard back from the police. Now for more advice before reading the final updates. I'm sorry you're going through this. Unfortunately, you are far from alone. Many crimes of identity fraud are perpetrated by parents on their children. I had a coworker a long time ago who never paid her utilities, and it was about to get shut off. She then put them in her kids' names, one by one, racking up a bill and then not paying. I said, what about ruining your kids' credit? And she said they can contest it if it's still there when they're adults, because they were 7 and 8 when the utilities were put in their name, and they can claim it was random identity theft. Spoiler alert, her now 30-something daughters never had a job and just had a 5th kid with yet another baby daddy. Guess what she does with her utilities? I guess it's a family tradition. Intergenerational transfers are insane. My partner is a social worker, and with the majority of families she works with, the parents had social services involved as children. In a few cases, involvement goes back 4 to 5 generations, although a generation is a much shorter unit of time for these families, with a few great-grandmothers not yet 60. You didn't ask for help, but I offer some anyway. What you are feeling is completely valid and reasonable response to the stress of the situation, but please don't forget your body's needs. Take a shower, or if possible, a bath. Eat something small at least and try to rest, with any ringer on high. Anxiety and stress like this, while valid, is not good for you. Try to relax and take care of basic needs. The law is involved now. You have your proof. At this point, there is nothing you can do until tomorrow. If it helps, write it all down on paper and try to leave the thoughts there. Please take care of yourself. Now for the last updates. So this isn't the update a lot of people want to hear. Police showed up Friday to talk to my mom. She denied everything and said she doesn't even speak to me, which is true, as we haven't spoken in 2 years. That Friday, I got logged out of my Experian, which is weird, but didn't think too much of it. Yesterday, I decided I would use my downtime to get back into my Experian account, thinking I forgot my username and password, plus signed up with an old email. I get back into my Experian and everything is different. Different email, different phone number, and username. Like someone just wanted to control my credit file, so I wouldn't be able to access any more information. I saved the email and phone number. I just got off the phone with a detective, and they will investigate this too. If it linked to her and shows up, then we have a closed case. If not, they said they will need to wait for more evidence to come in really. My boyfriend and I talked. We don't want more evidence to come in and be on high alert. So I'm hoping this time with all my evidence, I will be able to change my social security number. I tried back in 2021, but was denied because I didn't have evidence of it being constant harm. So I'm hoping this will help. I don't know if I will have another update on this. We sadly are moving, since our address was linked to my Experian. I also get spam calls asking to speak with my mom, or text with her name. Why I haven't changed my number? I tried in 2022, but the damn AT&T people ignored my request and kept my number the same. Plus, everything was quiet last year. So I'm going to try to change it again. Also, I know this is a question. How did she get into your Experian? I have the same 4 passwords I use for everything. She knows 2 of them. Every time I am requested to change password, I would just rotate those 4. I know, how stupid. I've now changed all my passwords to something she would never guess, and I'm better protected. If I do have an update, I will share, but it looks like this may sadly be it. I'm sorry this isn't a happy ending we all wanted. I wanted justice too. But please know I am happy even during those rough times. I have been super happy since no contact with my mom. I have an amazing found family and friends. It's funny my favorite movie was Meet the Robinsons as a child. How the ending wasn't exactly what the protagonist wanted, to be happy with his birth family. But I'm happy I kept moving forward and met my new family. I have so much love in my life now. I couldn't have asked for more. Final update. The police just gave me a call again. The number was linked to her, but she told the officers she helped me set up the account when we were talking, so of course her number is linked, which is 100% lie. The officer told me straight that if we didn't stop the inquiry and allowed her to use that card for a couple of weeks, we would have been able to book her, since they would have evidence the card was delivered to her address and was using it. So this is truly the end. Thank you all for support and love you sent my way. I hope everyone has a great rest of their week. Not even 2 months of unfreezing my credit, my mom applied for a new credit card in my name. I'm done. Imagine just brute force attempting identity fraud every few months, and against her own child. Poor Opie has had a rough go of it. I wish her nothing but luck from here on out. She has a tough journey ahead. I always feel bad when one has to fight against a parent, when that parent should have been there with you in your difficult times, not making your life difficult by their own actions. You would think. But some parents think that you are merely an extension of themselves, and therefore, all of this stuff is a non-issue. It is as it should be. Try to call them on this BS, do as much as you can to try and make it register, and you are the bad guy. And they just go back to doing whatever after some nice platitudes to make you feel better. Situations like this are asymmetric, because the perp is a crappy person, while the victim has humanity. So the perp gets to benefit from the humanity of the victim. The victim hesitates to do something that will hurt the perp, even at their own expense. In these credit theft situations, it's always the case that hesitation on the part of the victim simply results in the perp taking even more advantage of them. But generally, the victim has to learn that the hard way, after the perp has taken a wire brush to the victim's humanity, leaving it raw and bleeding. Yep, it sucks with identity theft because it's so common to happen with family members. And then victims really don't want to report it because they're scared of getting family in trouble, especially when the family is likely already in a precarious position from financial instability. And then the person who screwed them over just gets away with it. This is truly the end. Doubt it, but I'm glad Opie's finally standing up to her mom. I think when she says that's the end, they mean the end of the police looking into the case. Because why put an effort when it would be too hard to investigate?